Hi, everyone. If you are here, you likely have experienced narcissistic abuse, or you might be on a journey of healing from a toxic relationship, or maybe even multiple toxic relationships. My goal here is to always educate and guide you about your own healing journeys so that you don't repeat patterns that didn't serve you well. And if you've been a part of a toxic relationship, then you likely have heard the word narcissist. Narcissism in general is a word that's become really mainstream. It's a term that's thrown around a lot on channels like this or other social media platforms, and likely among your conversations as well. And although I think it's really important that we continue to talk about it, I think it's equally important that we do so with the correct information. So today I want to really dive into what is the difference between someone having narcissistic traits and what it means to have narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. It's important to understand that not everyone who is selfish or self-absorbed is a narcissist in the clinical sense. Yet the word narcissist, it's everywhere these days. So in today's video, we're going to define narcissism, understand what the term NPD means and what the key differences are between the two. And then I also want to dig a little into why these terms have become so widespread. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel and to this week's video. If you're new here, my name's Beany and I'm a certified trauma-informed coach that specializes in domestic and narcissistic abuse. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back. So first, let's talk about what narcissism is as a trait. And when I say trait, I mean it's a personality style. And believe it or not, some level of narcissism is normal. We all have moments where we seek admiration or we feel proud of our accomplishments and we want to be recognized. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. This definition of narcissism at its core is self-focused, an extreme need for validation. And there is, in fact, a healthy amount of narcissism that can help you to be confident and ambitious. And some of these qualities can be beneficial for you in certain aspects of your life. But where it becomes unhealthy is when a person is excessively self-centered, lacks any kind of empathy, and is constantly in need of admiration at the expense of others. And see, that's the key here, at the expense of others. And because they have no empathy, they can't even grasp the thought of why this doesn't work for others. An example might be someone who is an extremely confident public speaker and they enjoy attention, but they also have the ability to listen and respect others. But now imagine someone who interrupts, is dismissive to others' feelings, and they only care about their own success. This is excessive narcissism. Like anything else, in moderation, right? Now, let's contrast that with NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. See, this diagnosis isn't just about being self-centered. This is a condition that affects relationships, careers, and overall well-being. And in order to be diagnosed with NPD, a person must show at least 5 of these traits: grandiosity, sense of superiority, a preoccupation with fantasies of success, power, or beauty, a belief that they are special and should only associate with high status individuals, having the need for excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, the ability to exploit others in relationships, lack of empathy, envy of others, or believe others envy them, and arrogant behavior. And then in addition to having at least 5 of the previously mentioned qualities, there are also different types of narcissists. There's the overt, who is loud and arrogant and an attention seeker. And then there's the covert, who is the victim blaming and manipulative with maybe hidden arrogance. Maybe a boss who micromanages, takes credit for your work and punishes anyone who questions them is likely high on the narcissist scale. And yes, they can have hints of both. But if they also manipulate, exploit, and have no genuine empathy, then they might actually have NPD. But there's a lot more about the different kinds of narcissism. So if you're interested in learning that, let me know in the comments and I'll make another video that kind of breaks that all down for you. So I thought if I did maybe a side-by-side comparison between narcissism and NPD, it might give you a clearer picture of what the meaning of the words are all about. So I'm going to put narcissistic traits here on this side and NPD over here. So a narcissistic trait can be situational with social media or in the workplace. But NPD is pervasive and across the board in all situations. Over here on this side, you can be self-centered, but still have some empathy in certain situations, and that would be considered a narcissistic trait. But on the other side, NPD lacks the ability to have empathy at all. If you have narcissistic traits, you may still have the ability to form healthy relationships with others. But someone with NPD, they struggle with any kind of deep, meaningful connection with anybody. And then finally, over here on this side, a narcissistic trait, it is possible to improve with self-awareness. But someone who has NPD will likely never take accountability and therefore never even recognize that they need help. So you can kind of see that someone with narcissistic traits does not necessarily mean that they have NPD. The hard part here is that the likelihood of someone who has NPD to actually get that diagnosis is pretty darn slim. See, to get a diagnosis, that would require this person to have some insight into their own behaviors as being problematic. And that lack of insight and ability to self-reflect will hinder them from ever seeking help. And let's just say they do find themselves in a professional setting getting evaluated. A few of the traits of narcissism is manipulation and the ability to exploit others. And yes, that would include the healthcare professional that is attempting to gather information and get a clear assessment on them. So why is any of this important for you as a survivor? Well, like I said before, not every toxic person has NPD, but knowing the difference can help in setting boundaries for yourself. And if you're dealing with someone who is truly disordered, then expecting them to change is like running on a hamster wheel. And you likely will continue to be disappointed and even hurt. So now that you have a clearer picture of what the word narcissist means, why does it seem like you're hearing this term everywhere? I think there are a few reasons for this. Number one, I think that there is a greater awareness of this kind of abuse. More people are recognizing the manipulations, the gaslighting, and the trauma bonding. And survivors are speaking out and sharing their own experiences, which brings me to the second reason, which is social media. Social media definitely helps with number one, which is education and awareness, but it also rewards narcissists' behavior and this attention-seeking mindset. And the third reason is that there is a lot of overuse and even misuse of the word. Like I said before, not everyone who is selfish, arrogant, or rude is a narcissist. And those who may not fully understand its meaning are using it incorrectly, which just leads to confusion for others. Just because someone ghosted you doesn't mean that they have NPD, but that definitely could be a narcissistic trait. Now, if they consistently manipulate, lie, and exploit others, well, then obviously that's a red flag. So where does this all leave us? Okay, let's do a little recap. The key takeaways here are narcissism as a trait exists on kind of a spectrum. Not everyone with narcissistic tendencies has NPD. NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, is a diagnosable disorder that deeply impacts relationships and personal behavior. The word narcissist is everywhere these days, so it's really important that it is used correctly. And lastly, your awareness and education about it is your power. If you've been hurt by someone who is consistently displaying narcissistic traits, know that their behavior is not your fault. Continue to educate yourself so that you can better set boundaries with yourself with that person. If this video has helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, and comment. And for more survivor resources, please check out the description below. I will link them. Thank you so much for being here this week. And remember, as always, I'm rooting for you.